name is Danny Volpi, and this is my wife, Kirsten. We have been attending Livingstone Lutheran Church now for 5 years, along with my mother-in-law, Mary Ellen, and my daughter, Victoria, and her husband, Matt. And Indy, she's one.
I knew he wouldn't get through this without crying.
Sorry, I'm an emotional person. Yeah, I was actually going to start with a joke, and what was Jeremy thinking, asking me to speak to you? Anyway, so I was baptized in a Catholic church when I was a baby. However, my family, we didn't attend church on a regular basis. When I was 5 years old, my mother read me a book, Tell Me About God. And this is the very book that she read me over 64 years ago. And during that time, she also taught me the Lord's Prayer. Soon I would be asking my parents if I could go to church with a neighbor, friend, family. And fast forward to my high school years, I spent a lot of time in Young Life. And my senior year, I decided I was going to be baptized, even though I knew that, thank you. Even though I knew that wasn't a requirement from God. I just wanted to express my love in my in a public way as an adult. And in doing so, my parents started attending church on a regular basis. I have been mostly attending non-denominational churches in the past, but what makes me call Livingstone Lutheran Church my home is the Bible-based sermons, the insightful Bible studies that our pastor gives, and you, the congregation, who I know shows a deep love for our Lord. I'm looking forward to the building of our new church home and watching all of God's wonderful blessings take place.
All right. Again, good morning. I'm Kirsten Volpi. So my journey of faith started as an infant when I was baptized in Chicago, probably 6 weeks old in a Lutheran church. While we as a family, my mom, now I'm going to cry. My mom was really the strong person and the driver to make sure that her children, that all of us knew Jesus and that he was the Lord of our life. So thank you, Mom. So we moved here when I was 6, and we started going to Shepherd of the Hills Lutheran Church in Littleton, which we called our home for a long time. Cheryl went there. And so I was very engaged as a youth, starting with, Sunday school, vacation Bible school. That church was very, very engaged with connecting people to God and to each other. And so I engaged with everything I could. Youth group, like I said, VBS, all of the sports leagues that they did. I made sure that I was there. And as Danny mentioned, when we got together, he went to non-denomination churches. And so really for most of our marriage up until 5 years ago, and how we raised our 5 children was primarily through non-denominational churches. And for me, they were fine, but there was nothing that I could engage with or feel at home. I just kind of always felt like I was just a person sitting in a chair listening to a sermon. So for me, I was kind of looking for something more. And my mom was going with us to some of these churches that were loud and large. And so she probably was a little tired because she started looking for something new. And it just so happened that she was looking on the internet and found this church and said, hey, why don't we try it? So we did. And it was 5 years ago, May, this month, that we pulled into the parking lot. And when we pulled in, something really hit me and what really impacted me. And it was Pastor Jeremy standing out there waiting for people to come and greeting him. And I thought, oh my word, I've never experienced anything like this. A pastor that actually wants to get to know me, a pastor that wants to engage, a pastor that is caring and loving. So for me, I was kind of hooked at hello. That's a famous movie, right? You had me at hello. And so, and so just really even through the first service, just how, his sermons are amazing, but just how the community warmed us. I mean, I remember sitting here, Ellie and Mary were sitting behind us, and it was communion. And I'm like, am I allowed to take communion? And Ellie's in my ear, yeah, you can take communion. And that was just the first service. So, so very much appreciate that. So for me, there's a couple things that are foundational to why I very much appreciate Livingstone. And it really is the clear, unchanging, unwavering message of grace, of salvation, and it's important today in this horrific world are torn apart. That for me is huge. And close-knit relationships I think is a hallmark of Livingstone. We foster really deep connections. I mean, Danny and I'm not going to say we love serving setup, but we actually do, because that's where we get to know people best, is when we serve together. And so that close-knit, relationship with people, I love. It's it has changed me, and it has changed my life. And then we're steeped in the Word. That is foundational. It's how we engage with the Word, how we hear the Word, how we learn the Word, and Pastor has so many different opportunities, whether it's, Bible 101, which I don't think is called that anymore, but Bible 101, Bible studies, Bible and Brew, kids sessions. I think a lot of us learn a lot from kids devotion. So for me, that is really critical, that how steeped in the Word that we are. And I think something that Jim said last time that really hit me, and like I said, I've been going to church since my baptism, that how this church and how Pastor really connects God's promise, which is spelled out in the Old Testament, to his fulfillment, which is spelled out in the New Testament. So the way that he drives that path and that connection back and forth, to me is really important. So when I think about our new church home, and mentioned this earlier, is I think this crossing, again, happened at the right time. It has served us very well. It's a beautiful, beautiful location where we can, engage together. And so to me, I think it has done us well. But as I look for a new place, for me, it's a forever home that's dedicated. It's not just a building. And it really will create long-term stability for our church. And it'll be really rooted in kind of a neighborhood presence. And when I was earlier on in the process, we were talking about architecture for the new building, and it came up that it'd be great to have a cross at the top of the building, because it's kind of at the top of a hill where you could see that. So I see this church as really being a visible beacon of light and a gathering space where families can engage and be restored with the gospel that's being proclaimed all the time. And it's not just a building where we listen to a sermon. It's going to be a home where everybody's invited to partake in outreach. So for me, the memories that I had at Shepherd of the Hills, I could really envision that happening with our new space, where we have enough space to have softball games and have engagements outside and bring the community in. It's not just we're building a building, we're building a home, we're building a space. So very excited. And then I will repeat what Pastor mentioned earlier in his sermon, but 1 Peter 2:5 calls believers to be living stones, being built together into a unified spiritual house. So thank you.